here on time. Alright, I'll start my telemetry application.
Oh yeah, about that, I think you should have done it in the lobby. I don't know if it's gonna work now. Anyway, FRL Div 2 Season 2, round 6, if I remember correctly. This time in Austria. 15 people. I have to send an invite to, I think, one more person. Where is he? Maybe. See, I don't see him. Here we go. Chaos, you wanna do podium predictions or pole predictions this time?
Let's see. We got here. I had brilliant. I'm gonna have all these things prepared, and I'm going to look at results from previous year, and I'm gonna look at all this stuff, and then my modem dies, and I'm running out. So brand new modem though. Things should be working well. Who do I think is looking pretty good? Well, the Brax brothers, like they have shown consistent speed, but they've got those connection problems, and that's possibly going to be a big limit for them. Raros had some nice results this year. Alza pretty. Go with Krith, Balzac, Raro.
Okay, just so you know, you got the Canadian internet going on again.
I have dire going on.
Yeah, you're like cutting out pretty big.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear most of the thing you say, but sometimes it's just cut out. That was the problem. Is it good now? I don't know if you joined or not. JD again. Where is he? Okay. Where's the...
Red Baron has just sent me a little forecast information that shows rain in 5 minutes, but we're not looking at 45 qualifying here. But that could bode interestingly for the weekend if we end up with a wet race here in Austria.
I like wet races. I think...
Well, who doesn't?
I think
Valtteri Bottas.
I think it brings out, you know, shows who actually is in the control of the car most of the time, and who you know who knows how to drive fast. Well,
yeah, you really get to see some impressive performance.
To be completely fair, on most of the simulators or video games we play, the wet tarmac is not really how the wet tarmac works in real life. Because on this game, all you have to, when it's wet, all you have to do is just use the dry line and go like 80% fast. And in real life, it's way different.
In real life, my experience with bad traction is snow. I've never been in conditions so wet that I had difficulty having traction, but in the snow, let's just say accelerating out onto the highway when it's really snowy is an exciting time.
Yeah. Trying to get that speed.
Yeah, seeing, you know, where's my traction control?
Okay, so I'm on board with Rao. Brick gets a
As am I.
05.0. I think that's an okay time. I don't even remember what's like the a good time around here.
Well, I think we're looking at 104s, maybe into the 103s here.
Yeah, I think possibly a low 104. Maybe even a 103.
Well, I never know. You could get a real god lap in here.
Pat with a 04.5. It's pretty close. Right now, pretty close.
Oh, and Raro with 4.6.
Yeah, puts him P2. So we got... Who are we missing? I don't know who are we missing. I'm not sure.
Well, I could pull up my my standings, but so Prestige, she's one of the new drivers. Is that correct?
Yeah, Prestige, Gab, Flag,
Yes. Yeah, I think those are the two whose names I don't
We are
recognize.
missing one more new person.
No, is that Dan, correct?
It's that Droga guy. That
Oh, okay.
he's the only one missing. I did send him an invite and I saw that he joined, so all he needs to do is just hit take control. Okay, I see Luke dropped, so I'll get him an invite. Here we go.
Well, that's unfortunate. Prestige gets his lap disallowed on the first corner before starting the lap, so he'll have to abort that one. Red Baron on pole with a 104.411.
Yeah, we got. Oh wait, JD is in here, so and so is Bruno. Bruno is El Sucio Dan.
Oh yes, you know what? I'll bet that I cut out there because I was saying Bruno Araya is El Sucio Dan, right?
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Okay, well, I apologize for my internet, and I will personally send a very sternly worded message to Northwest Tel. You will get to hear the conversation from my perspective when I upload this video.
Let's see, Bruno. 104.
All right, here comes Prestige.
So, Bruno with 104.3. I would expect that this is gonna improve by at least 3 tenths here. Okay, on board with Prestige. Oh, I liked how he did all his downshifts. He did like almost didn't use any of the on chaos drop. Rip. Didn't use any of the engine braking. And again, he's doing it like Lewis Hamilton, the same way. Lewis, when he approaches a corner, he gets on the brakes real hard, and then he waits a little bit, and then he starts downshifting, and you can't really hear the engine just scream because of the downshift. It just gets really quiet. So 104.3 gets P2. Half a tenth slower than Bruno. Let's see if Chaos is offline. Okay. So pretty solid time from him. He's also a new guy. Technically, he's even a reserve driver, so that is gonna be a pretty good result. At least in qualifying for McLaren. Let's see. Look, gonna start his lap in the Red Bull. I think this car is definitely one of the most stable cars in the game. You can really, you don't really need a lot of downforce on the rear end of it. It just sticks to the ground, which is actually something that Red Bull struggle with in real life. I think both Max and Albon, I think they both said that the rear is like very upset most of the time. But you know, this season looks like Checo is doing well in it.
Oh, hey, I just have reconnected. I just heard you say that.
Yeah, do you need an invite back?
Oh, I've got several invites still here.
Okay, just let me know if you need one.
Much obliged.
So look, with a P1 time, 104.0.
104.0, nice.
Yeah,
Well,
it's actually really close, all like everywhere, like from P1 to P10, actually P11. It's just a 1 second difference. Everything in between is like really close.
Is how are the Brax brothers going to do, because their connections have been such an Achilles heel, but they really do have good pace, and they've deserved better results than they've gotten in the past because of that.
Yeah, it really sucks that, you know, there's an external factor that stops them from racing with us. But also, the new guy, the prestige guy in the McLaren, he's P4 currently.
He's P4. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, just a half of a tenth behind Bruno. And Rogaine in P2 with a 104.1. Let's see if is JD out. Yeah, JD is out, and he's on a half lap right now. Also, my screen, I don't see his hands for some reason. Code
Is
master.
JD or did I just for some reason not see his name?
I'm not seeing his hands too.
By that I mean his name.
Oh, his name?
Yeah, he is there. Actually, I might need to revise my podium prediction. I did see that he was in the edge. Speaking of which, just goes fastest 103.2.
Okay.
For some reason, I had missed seeing his name in the list of people who arrived for this race because I definitely, he is definitely got to be on the podium unless he has a really disastrous race, I think, because he's been very strong lately. I've been impressed.
He's one of the two top runners. So, him, JD, and Bruno. Those guys usually fight for the win. That was a very good time. 103.2. It's actually kind of crazy because most of the time I noticed that when they qualify, their lap times are faster than Div 1.
Well, I mean, Cub, you do have to recall that I'm in Div 1. It's not like Div 1 means more skilled.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, I'd say most of the people are maybe not more skilled, but more in control of the car, I would say. So, you don't know assist.
Alright, so right now we've got El Sucio Dan Bruno just coming in after setting a lap. He's 5th place, but with mediums.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something to keep an eye out for. 104.3 on mediums is a very nice lap.
Actually, is that mediums? Because he just did a lap, and I think that first lap was on softs actually. Yeah, his Bruno's lap was on softs.
Oh, am I misreading that? Because he was on the yellow tires as he came in there. Did he not set a faster lap?
He did not set a lap on those.
It's possible that I'm also seeing things a little bit messed up because of my disconnection there.
Yeah, that could be the case. How much time is there left on your end?
4 minutes 56 seconds on my end.
So we are about the same. Because I don't know why, but usually the spectator timer it's a bit off, like 1 minute off. So when we see that qualifying is done, they actually still have a minute left. Oh, and Crit
gets himself on. Yeah, he was sitting in last place without a lap time there, so that's good to see him up there at the sharp end of the grid. And that's the 3rd driver to go under the 104 barrier. And Dan has headed out for a new outlap. I suppose I should go by the name he's going by now rather than what I previously have known him as. So Bruno heading out for what's going to have to... let's see, I don't think he'd be able to do another... actually, yeah, he's just barely got enough time to do 2 laps if he really rushes it.
Maybe.
Because
maybe.
our timer's a bit off, so I give him an extra 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think he's got time for this one and one more.
Oh, here he comes. Everything's all warmed up. Yeah, he's been spending some ERS just getting around really fast this lap. He knows he has to be quick if he wants to get 2 laps in here. So I'll just ride on board with him. See what we get here. Coming up to turn 2. Tight power down. The most unbelievable thing in all of this is the crowds.
Oh yeah.
Where's my verisimilitude? Oh, lock up into turn 3. But it keeps it going, keeps it going. Coming around the central loop.
Ooh, and one of the Red Bulls just spawned out of turn 1.
Power's on, only 2 turns to go now. He's up by 6/10.
That's not enough to take it. On Invalidates.
And validates on the last corner, disaster. Alright, well, I don't think he has enough time. No, he won't have enough time to do an in-lap and an out-lap. Unless he's got that extra 30 seconds, but even then it's going to be real tight. But he is going full race pace back, so he's going to try it. Because starting from 7th is going to be unfortunate for him.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna put JD in a good spot for the race.
Yes, the proverbial catbird seat.
Yeah, gonna be in the clean air. No extra tire work, he's only in the dirty air. Nobody is in front of him. And his main rival is like, 6 positions behind him.
Yeah, it's a good spot for him to be in right now. If I'm not mistaken, it's 79 points for a JDR and 79 to 76 between the two of them. First, second, wasn't able to race in China. Second and second compared to wasn't able to race in Australia. First retired, first. So thus far, every single race that he has finished, Bruno has been a winner.
That's pretty solid.
Certainly is, and thus far there's been a decent monopolization of podiums thus far. So this is the 6th race of the season, and in the previous 5, the podium finishers have been JDR, they've been Bruno. Rogain's had 2 third places, Griff has had 3, Raro has his 1 victory, and Lacadienne in that same race, the Chinese Grand Prix, came 2nd. Meanwhile, there's been guys like Balzac who have just been, workhorsing their way through, 7th, 6th, 7th, 6th, 4th, getting really consistent good points there, and he's still pretty far up there in the championship.
Yeah. Think of JD as a Mercedes. Think of Bruno as a Red Bull. And then think of, you said Balzac, right?
Yes, I did say Balzac.
Yeah,
McLaren?
Was in McLaren, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Prestige coming up for a lap here. Although he's down a little bit.
He's got no
Not sure if he's
DRS.
going to be able to improve. Yeah, I'm curious as to what's going on there. Is this
Could be a
is this an
second
in-lap? Yeah, this could well be in. That's the only way that makes sense. I might have caught him on his 2nd lap. Yeah, it is. He's 2 laps out. Meanwhile, I'd like to point out that Balzac is just leading. Okay, time is up. Okay, so it says time is up, and El Suciadan was just 3 turns away from starting a new lap, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it.
Didn't make it. There's a checkered flag next to his name on my end.
Yep. Well, that is going to be a difficult start, but let's see what he can do, and maybe we are going to have some difficult conditions, because our weatherman, Red Baron, did send me that some information that there is going to be some rain after practice, or at least 75 minutes into qualifying, I should say, which is not that important for this qualifying session, but who knows what that might bode for the race. Certainly, wet Austria has happened before, and it has been quite an interesting show. So, I'd love to see it. Is there anyone who's still sitting a lap here? Let's see, where's Rogain? I think Rogain is still... no, he's going slowly.
So Jay is going to the pit, so we got...
Luke Brax is retired. Yeah,
Q1,
so we've got a grid, it looks like.
Q1
Yeah,
JD.
JD takes pole, Rogain and Krith. So hey, there's my let's see, I was calling Krith and Balzac so Rogaine, doing very nicely there, qualifying second on the grid. Krith in third, Balzac fourth, Luke Braxton fifth, and Red Baron sixth. Prestige seventh, very good to see that from our new driver. Bruno down in eighth. That's going to be tricky, but I don't doubt his ability to get past people. But that's just going to give such an advantage to JDR to just build a gap and not surrender it if he doesn't make any mistakes. Brower starting ninth ahead of Pat Lassard in 10th. Ian Brax is going to be the first man with free choice of tire. And then Lakadian, Gab Flag, the other new driver, Bricklot in 14th, Nameless Nate in 15th, and Jail Patel in 16th place.
Okay.
So then, half a second. That's a
pretty big.
that's a Hamilton position right there.
Okay.
But we've got a nice little cluster
now.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna say. I mean, it seems like a bit of a basic prediction here. I'm gonna stick with Krith and Balzac, expecting them on the podium here. I'm gonna say JDR Krith Balzac. Although maybe it could be JDR Bruno Krith if he has a really good race there. You know what? I'm gonna go with that. JDR Bruno Krith.
Okay, I'm gonna say JD and P1 simply because he's got that big advantage over Bruno. P2, I'm gonna say Bruno too. I think pace-wise, he's just better than everyone in here.
And unfortunately, he's not so far back. He gets free choice of tire, so he still has to start on the same strategy as all the front runners.
Yeah, and P3, I'm gonna say Balzac. I'm gonna say Balzac because I think he asked me to do it, to put him on the podium.
And I do have to point out, though, perhaps we are not giving the credit that we need to give to Rogaine. He hasn't finished worse than fourth all season.
That's solid.
Yeah, so what we get from this is I don't expect him to fall down much in the order. So, I might be underrating him to suggest that he's not on my podium prediction here. So he's definitely a strong chance in this race.
Yeah, I think he was also the only driver that did not get any penalties in Canada, if I remember that correctly. We could go check, but I will not alt tab out of my game.
That's fair. I've got my unofficial results table. It's a lot narrower than the official one. So my little Google sheet sitting off on the side where I'm just peeking over all of these and getting my stats from. All right. So for strategies, you think we're looking at mostly one stops here?
Yeah, I would say so. I think just soft, even to mediums, that's doable. Because I remember Nick did that in Div 1. He struggled with pace towards the last 5 laps, but he was faster throughout the stint than me, and I did softs to hards actually. So I think a one stop is definitely the way to go here. Since this track is there isn't many twisty parts of it. You don't really get a lot of tire wear. You got a straight after a straight after a straight, so a one stop is the way to go here. It's just what matters is if you wanna go on mediums, you're definitely gonna have to save some of the tire at the start of your stint because you're not gonna make it until the end.
Unless there are a couple of drivers who are just very gentle on the braking, very gentle on the acceleration, and while that does cost you a lot of time, if that happens to be your particular style, then you can pull off those strategies a lot more easily. I know that I tend to be fairly ginger on my tires, so I can often get away with strategies that, for instance, I chat strategy with Lucky Moose all the time, and he's very aggressive, very hard on acceleration, hard on his braking, and he definitely needs to pull off the slightly more conservative strategies so that he can pull his much less conservative driving style off. All right, here we go. 2 lanes, 3, 4, and 5. Austrian Grand Prix Season 2 FRL, and here we go. Oh, jump start from Jail Patel.
So far in the front, all good. Oh,
Yeah.
and there's a Mercedes
That's a
in the wall.
That's a Red Bull, I think.
That is a
Oh, no,
Mercedes.
that's Pat Lassard. Alright, well,
And
he's going to have
Rogaine
to
just
do a
took
first lap pit
P1
stop.
from JD, just send it on the inside, and JD is pulling down the order. He's got to be
This is
P5,
going to be
I think.
difficult.
Yeah, he is going to be P5, or maybe he's gonna stick it and keep it P4. Maybe.
Bruno, meanwhile, has not made up any places on the start.
Yeah, but now he's almost right behind JD, who is P5 currently. Gonna be P4
Well,
now.
he's going to be the man to watch right now. It might be very entertaining to watch things from his perspective. A little wiggle from Prestige. Bruno taking a peek at it. Balzac taps the grass on the inside, but he keeps it under control. And here we go. This is going to be one of the first big overtaking opportunities of the race beyond the very beginning. Here we go, up the inside. Bruno, with the full deployment, gonna dive. Locks up a little bit. And he is through on Prestige into 7th place. He is now 3 positions behind JDR, who has had a difficult start. That's a yellow flag in
And
Sector 1. What is this?
Brick just spun out of turn 1. I think he wanted to overtake somebody on the inside, and I think they made contact. I don't know.
And Jael Patel and Nameless Nate both out of the pits.
So Rogaine, P1 with
And Red in 3rd place.
Yeah, this is Rogaine.
Yeah,
it's only
you know,
lap 2 and
there we
he's already
go.
got that big of a gap. So all he needs to do is really just keep that pace and just drive slow.
Play it smart, play it safe. Let the other people get in his way.
Yeah, I think he just got a purple sector too, actually.
Indeed.
Or somebody.
And hey there, Brother John. I'd like to say that so far Prestige is doing a very nice job. He's keeping your McLaren safe. He is coming in for an early pit stop, though. What is this going to be? Did he get a little bit of damage? I might have just spoken at the worst possible moment there.
So JD is going to make a move on Red Baron. Nothing which is way too close against the 1.
And we've got a tight little battle here. Bruno following Balzac, following Luke Brax, following Red Baron. Everyone within DRS range here. It's just a big DRS train, all the way from first back, honestly.
So from 1st to 7th, it's just a DRS train, honestly.
And here we go. Balzac defending off of Bruno, looking at the inside, but that's just going to compromise his line. You're not going to make a pass into there unless you have a huge base differential. Right now, everyone's a near
moment.
That was
a scary moment for him.
Actually, more than a near moment, that was a full moment right there.
Yeah. He managed to save it, but he lost a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's going to take him outside of DRS range, and fastest lap for JDR, 1:06.5. He wants this lead back.
Yeah, and Rogaine under attack from Crook and JD.
JD is right behind him. He's looking at the outside. Now he's looking to the inside. Is he going to make a dive? He's not. Not at this moment.
Ooh, oh my god.
He gets a little bit close. Oh, but Rogaine now behind. Krith takes the lead. Rogaine goes a little wide. JDR is going to have to back up from this. And now, both with DRS open, but JDR is going to want to make a move here. Can he do it, though? DRS is closed, and it stays there. We're going to watch from Red Baron's seat here. Oh, a penalty picked up for Krith from multiple warnings.
And sends it down the inside.
There he takes it.
I honestly did not expect that to happen.
No, that's a very difficult spot to overtake, but JDR, we know he has the pace. He can make moves that these other guys are going to have a lot of difficulty just because he's squeezing out an extra tenth, an extra half a tenth out of some of these mini sectors. Looks like Atlasar just had a moment out of turn 2 there, but he's carrying on.
Yeah, and Bruno having trouble with passing Balzac. Still in P7.
Well, we know that Balzac's good. He's not a pusher. Oh no! There was contact between Bruno and Balzac. Is his front wing damaged?
I am looking at that. Both
I'm looking at it as well. I cannot see any damage. It looks like he might have gotten away with it.
Yeah. Ooh, and
Yes, he
Rolsic
was
just lost 2 spots to here. And JD is
Just
back
I
at
think.
first.
Was Luke Brax behind him beforehand? I thought that Luke Brax was ahead of him.
I am not sure what happened, but look like Luke Brax.
Oh, Bruno, another moment! And now Bruno gives it right back. That work undone, unfortunately. Fortunately for him, though, Raro is slipping back, so he's not able to capitalize on that.
That rare end just doesn't want to stick.
He is running a slippery setup that really, really kills him going out past the center field.
You know what? I think he might be driving the real life hacks actually. Or the driver himself is what do we call him? I think we call him Maze Spin right now.
Mazaspin.
Mazaspin.
Well, I
yeah.
don't think that's a nice thing to say of anyone here.
Oh no. That was really good.
Well, so, nonetheless, we still have a tight fight for first place. Rogaine, Krith, and JDR is in the lead. So now we're going to look, how is this going to play out? Is JDR going to begin to pull out a lead here, or is Krith going to be able to keep him in DRS range? He's right at the very tenuous edge of DRS range. But if he slips out, and he's sitting right at the edge of a second, if JDR slips out, I think he's going to be able to start pulling away. And there he is. He's going to be outside of DRS range. Now JDR is going to work on building up a gap. And critically, Bruno is not past Balzac. He is still fighting past him. He got past once, had to give it up as he had that moment and got repassed. Now he's got to do it all over again. Meanwhile, the gap to the leader is going to start slowly building up with that gap forming between Red Baron and the 3 leaders. Oh, Balzac, moment, goes wide. Bruno up the inside and comfortably past the McLaren into 6th place. Next up is Luke Brax, who is right on Red Baron, up the inside. Is he going to make a move? There's a lockup. Red Baron is wide, giving him a lot of space. Very respectful there. They're racing side by side, but he's through. And Red Baron slots back into 5th place. Luke Brax now taking 4th. Is Luke going to be able to start closing the gap to Rogaine? They're outside of DRS range, but as we look back from Luke Brax, we have got 3 behind him, all in consecutive DRS range, all the way back to Balzac.
This is a pretty crazy race so far.
And look at that, JDR is pulling out a second a lap now. So he is going to have some big pace. And the question is now, what is his strategy going to be? Is he going to go for the conservative strategy? Just go, change relatively soon, take the hards, ride them to the end? Honestly, that seems like the move to make right now. Bruno making a move here on Red Baron.
He sends it down the inside of Luke. Can he make it stick?
Is he
a little bit of a moment?
He does! I believe he does, and that's up to 4th place. Luke Brax is not going to be happy with that. He is going to try and make a move back here, but Bruno has his DRS still. There's no move here. But there's a lockup. This presents an opening window, but oh, there's a yellow flag. There's a Ferrari that is, it's Droga. Oh, across the track.
And he's he doesn't have the right side of his wing. It's missing, so he's not going to the pits.
Yeah, I see damage on that front. He's going to need new nose cone. That's going to be difficult.
So Bruno in P4 is going to start chasing Kurt right now.
Yes, this is what we were talking about. It's the Bruno charge now. Oh, JDR does pick up a time penalty. That could be significant later on in the race. He can't just rely on track position. He needs to have track position and a time gap now.
Yeah. So the Renault teammates actually no team orders, from what I know. There's a clean fight hopefully. But them fighting is not, it's not helping them. Because they could be, they could be pulling away from Bruno and just get a P2 and P3 and, fight it out towards the end.
That said, they might be also, and I very much doubt that they're thinking about it this much. I think they're just focused on the race from lap to lap. But strategically, if you assume that Bruno's got the pace, this is the fight for 3rd place right now. This is Rogaine versus Krith. This is 2 guys who've gotten multiple podiums this season. And with Bruno closing in on them, they know one of them if all things hold together, is likely to be fourth here, and one of them is going to be third.
It's still really hard to say what's gonna happen in this race. And we got Luke in the pits. I think
Taking
he's
his
the
first pit stop.
First one to pit.
The first non-accident pit stop.
Yeah, and he's going on the mediums. So he's gonna have to go for 26 laps on them.
I mean, I think it's doable, but those tires are going to be rough at the end of the race unless he is doing a soft, medium, soft, which could be a valid strategy here. Although it'll be hard to make up the gap, especially with the traffic that we've got here. 17 racers on a short track like Austria is nothing to sniff at.
Yeah, we got overtakes all over the place. Prestige making a move on Nameless Nate into turn 3. Next is and Brick has a little bit of a moment out of turn 3. Gets overtaken by Prestige as well. And Nameless Nate too. Nameless Nate is gonna try around the outside. Let's see if he can make it stick.
And Ian on gap flag here. A tight fight for 9th place right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of fighting going on, actually.
Oh no! Nameless Nate! Almost sideways. He manages to save it, but it goes off the track there. And now he's got Droga coming up right behind him.
On Nameless Nate, I don't see any front wing damage, so I think he is going to be just fine.
Bricklot now.
Yeah.
Close behind Prestige.
Rick got overtaken by Prestige on the exit of turn 3. Rick had
But he's keeping the gap if he can keep the DRS here.
Jay and Pat all the way in the back there having a little fight too.
Well, there we have it. Up and down the grid.
So JV with that 6-second gap now in P2.
Yep, like I said, he's just pulling out comfortably a second a lap right now. I really think that the soft to hard is the move for him.
I think Bruno made some kind of a mistake somewhere, because I saw that the gap to Rogan was 2 seconds, now it's 4. So
well, he's running a very slippery, he's running an unstable, difficult setup. It's very good, but he has to have perfect control because he just keeps on having these moments that are costing him a lot. And if he's making up half a second with that, but he's 2 seconds every couple, it's not really paying off.
Yeah, usually with aggressive setups, you can be really fast on them, but once you make a single mistake, it's pretty much over. You're just gonna overheat the tires, and the temperatures are most likely never going back to normal. So you just have to drive perfectly and fast.
I think for the first time in the race, we only have one set of cars who are within a second. Okay, we've got a pit stop for Rogaine. He is the first of the Renaults to pit.
He's going the hards.
Alright, he's going to take hards to the end. The safe strategy, as I'd see it.
Yeah,
you know those are going to make it. You know he's not going to have any problems with tire wear. You know he didn't have to run really late on these soft. 4 pit stops. We've got Ian Brax into the pits, and now both of the Brax brothers have pitted.
And Ian is on the mediums, and he's throwing a whip change as well.
Yeah, I think there was some light damage on there from a little bit earlier. Gap flag right behind Rogaine. But Rogaine is going to be pulling away from him now. He's got those fresh tires. And the key is, how is he going to do? Is Krith going to pit this coming lap? Let's watch. No, he is not. Staying out. And the interval is growing larger and larger. JDR is running away with the race right now. And meanwhile, Bruno has closed the gap to 2 seconds to Krith. So our discussion about him being able to make a charge up definitely happening here, and he might even be able to pull an overcut since he's going up against a Renault on hard tires. Can he get better pace on worn softs than you're going to get on a Renault on fresh hards? That's the question. I think with Bruno's pace, he very well may be able to do that.
Yeah. See, Bruno has a 10-second gap that he needs to close down to even start fighting GD, and he's still got a car in front of him.
And
But
critically, the gap...
keep in mind that GD and Crew, they both have penalties. So
that is true,
and
and
that gap, the 10-second gap, turns into a 7-second gap.
Bruno's pitting. Bruno is pitting,
So is
and
Chris.
so is Chris. The two of them are both... Now, if either of them has any wing damage, this is going to be difficult. Alright, no penalties going into the pits there.
Yeah, and Balzac and Red Baron also is. So
And
Chris,
that promotes
Chris
Rara
on
into
the
second
mediums.
place.
Bruno on the mediums as well, and he gets hit
Oh,
up in the
delayed.
pits because of the coming Williams car.
Balzac, but he does pull out ahead of Balzac, but that leaves him behind Bruno.
Yeah, so because Bruno got held up in the pits, now Luke is in front of him.
Yeah, so there we go. Gets the undercut, Luke Brax.
Yeah.
And now we've got some work here, and he's out on the
Let's see
medium
if JD
tires.
Let's see if JD is gonna pit this lap, and looks like he is pitting.
Yeah, he's lined up for the pits, and here he comes. JDR into the pit lane.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna come in for mediums, since he's pitting that lane.
And what's Raro going to do? Because 16 laps, he's got to pit. There's no way he's doing more laps on the softs than he's doing on mediums.
Yeah,
This
so,
has to be it.
So JD pits for the mediums. Raro in the pits as well.
And Raro is going to be in a difficult situation because he's going to come out and there's this big crowd who's charging through. We've got Rogan, Griff, Luke Bratz, Bruno, Balzac, Gavleg, and Prestige, and Red Baron all in a tight grouping here, and they're all going to be coming out past him. Meanwhile, we've got a little bit of a fight between Prestige and Red Baron. But it's in DRS terrain, so it's going to be hard to make a move. He's looking at it, but he realizes it's not going to happen. Discretion, the better part of valor, and Raro comes out in 9th place.
And everybody
go.
in front of him
Red
has
Baron.
already stopped. He's going to have some,
But he will.
he's going to have that tire advantage, but is it going to be enough to, put him back up where he was before the pit stop?
Very much that.
I think that's just gonna be the difficult part of it.
Bruno
well,
P4.
you still got Prestige, because he pitted when he had damage, I think. So he's still on soft, so he's gonna, drop back because he needs to do another stop. Let's see. Red Baron is on mediums, Balzac on mediums, Luke is on mediums as well.
The only person on hards is Rogan.
No, I think Luke is gonna have to stop again, right? I think he pitted lap 10.
Yeah, I strongly feel that Luke is doing a soft, medium soft, very aggressive strategy, so he's going to have to make up some places if he wants to make that work. Pit stop for Prestige.
So on mediums, and he's gonna go to the end on those, hopefully.
Well, one presumes that with 19 laps to go. Also, do you see a little bit of rain off in the distance there? Have a look at the sky. There's a few places that are looking a little bit rainy off in the distance. I'm not sure if rain is coming, but look at those hills over there.
I'm gonna try and give it a look once the camera is ready.
Yeah, you'll see it right when you're coming around the pole.
So far, it's clear sky with some white clouds running. But you did say in qualifying that rain is gone, so maybe they'll get some rain.
There is always the possibility, and it is the mountains. I have no idea if they programmed it this way, but in the mountains, weather changes quite quickly. Although I think everyone everywhere says weather changes quite quickly in the place where I live. Also, Bruno, right behind Rogaine right now, and he's going to have younger, softer tires. I don't think there's a defense for Rogaine. He goes tight, and Bruno goes around the outside. That's comfortably ahead of Rogaine before they even... Oh! Rogaine almost tried to make a little move back, but he was blocked. And that is going to put Bruno comfortably into third place. And now, on equal tire strategy, he's going to have to chase down and try and pass Krith for second place. Meanwhile, there's a 10-second gap up to JDR. And once again, we have to reiterate, every single race that Bruno has finished, he has won this season. So can he close up? He's still without penalties. So if JDR isn't able to keep it clean, he might be able to close up that gap.
Yeah, JD just saw fastest lap time.
He's certainly not slowing down.
Yeah. He is, well, his ERS is at 9% right now. And I can see those clouds you were talking about. I can see those dark clouds over the mountain.
Yeah, the skies are darkening now.
Yeah.
I think our graphic settings are just a little bit different. I've got yours on one screen, mine on the other, and I can see that I think I've got a slightly different particle shading of the weather because it is definitely starting to sock in here.
Could be because I'm running the lowest graphic settings.
I'm running the settings that make my slow driving at least look pretty.
Yeah, I need the most amount of FPS I can get because I'm running the 144 Hz monitor.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
anything below 144 FPS looks just laggy to me. But yeah, it is definitely getting darker right now.
Yes, and also Balzac right on the back of Luke Brax. He's within DRS range in the battle between 5th and 6th place. Prestige is also close behind Blackadian, and I see there's a change of position between JL Patel and Bricklot. Bricklot is able to get past JL, but he locks up. The two teammates almost have it coming together, but JL recognizes Bricklot is through and pumps the brakes, makes sure that there's no collision between the teammates, no damage. They definitely don't need that, especially with JL having 13 lap-old medium tires, having changed earlier on in the race. JL Patel, I imagine he's probably going to be, well, he has to be going for a two-stop. You're not going to be taking these tires the full length of the race.
And there's overtake attempt from Balzac.
Yeah, move from Prestige on Lakadian. And he's through. And he still has some DRS to put a gap in further. Here we go. Drogo and JDR. This is just a lapping. But Pat Lassard is right behind Drogo. And gap flag right behind Ian Brax. Looking at a potential fight for 11th and 12th place. Meanwhile, Bruno has closed the gap to Grith to 1.5 seconds. They're both on the exact same tires, the exact same strategy, so this is just going to be a very straightforward, old-fashioned fight between them. There's not going to be any strategy in terms of tires. It's all going to be about who can get the power down out of the corners, who can get through, who can take advantage of the DRS here. And perhaps I spoke too soon about the strategy thing because everyone here must be aware that there is something going on in them thar hills. There's rain. There is at very least heavy fogginess coming in here, and I would not be surprised to see something happening. Balzac going through on Luke Brax. Joe Padel picks up a time penalty. And he's through. Balzac up into 5th place. Luke Brax falling down. He's got those older mediums. He's going to be probably making one more stop. And if I were Luke, I'd be looking and just saying, hey, a little bit of rain, a little bit of rain. Can we get a bit of that wet stuff? Meanwhile, Bricklot and JL Patel still having a little bit of a duel here. Bricklot holding on to the lead, but JL is trying to take it back. He's on old tires, but I think he's feeling, I've still got the pace here. Or possibly Brick had a moment. Prestige picks up a time penalty. That's going to be a little bit difficult with Lacadian hot on his heels.
Do you think rain is gonna come? I hope it does.
I'd like it to, but I sort of think that it's going to maybe sprinkle a little bit, but I don't think it'll be enough for wet conditions. But that's just me being biased towards rain looking like it's going to happen, but never actually happening in this game. So who's to say? I could be speaking from limited experience. Red Baron, with some nice pace here, we've got an interesting situation. We've got Bravo chasing Red Baron, chasing Luke, chasing Balzac. Each driver on a different age of tire here, so we're going to be seeing a little bit of differential performance, even though they're all on mediums. Luke Brax got passed by Balzac, but Balzac has not been able to pull away. Bruno Raya in a move for second place, up the inside through turn 1, and Krith falls to third place. Bruno Raya now holding second place overall. Is Krith going to be able to make a move back here? He's looking at the outside. Goes deep into the corner, but there's no cut back. There's no move here, and Bruno Araya is now comfortably up into second place. And now we've got JDR, Bruno, Krith, and Rogaine. Rogaine is a bit of the wild card here because he is on these hards, and they're costing him a little bit of time. He's falling off of his teammate. And we don't know what's going to happen with the weather. If these mediums are going to make it, a bit of a moment there.
I'm seeing rain, I think. Yeah, I am seeing something, and that is rain, 100%.
Alright, ladies, gentlemen.
Yep, it's starting.
Missing that slightly. Well, we could make some snarky comments on Balzac's behalf. Rogaine takes a time penalty. And Fred Baron right on Luke Brax here, and yes, I am seeing sprinkles of rain. Ladies, gentlemen, we are getting rain here in the Austrian hills outside of Spielberg. And this is going to upset everything. Your advantage, it might be gone. How long are people going to dare to go before the conditions get a little bit too wet? It's just sprinkles right now, but the traction is going to start going. We've got Red Baron still following right behind Luke Brax. Luke Brax is going to be thanking his lucky stars for this rain because he is on 13 lap old mediums. He would love to throw on a pair of intermediates in 6th place with everyone else needing to pit and take this to the end. Meanwhile, we've got a little bit of excitement further back. Nameless Nate close behind J.O. Patel and Bricklot. The three of them in a fight for 13th, 14th, and 15th, which honestly is going to be fought just as aggressively and with just as much enthusiasm as you're going to have for people up in the podium places. Ooh, a moment there for Nameless Nate, but he holds it together on his 8-lap-old softs. He is another person who's going to say, yeah, give me some rain, give me some interest. These softs, and he is the only person on the softs, these softs are going to be wearing out fairly soon. And he would love to put on a new pair. He would hate to have to pit once for another set of tries and then put on intermediates.
Usually the indicator that it's time to switch to intermediates is when they disable the DRS.
That's always the cue I look for.
Yeah, you can also, Jeff is actually, he's pretty good with weather too.
I know, saying that Jeff is good at something is a bit heretical, but I'll allow it for this time because it's true.
Yeah.
Rogaine
I
gets
usually
a lot.
tell him to shut up because most of the time he's not giving me any good information, but when it comes to strategy, overall I think Jeff is pretty good at that.
The question is, who is going to be the first person who is going to make the gamble onto the inters? It's definitely not time for inters yet. Red Baron going for the draft on Luke Brax. He wants this position. Is he going to go up the inside? No, he's not. He goes wide through there and into the final corner. But Luke Brax also has the DRS. There's no drag reduction system advantage here. Is he just going to send it up the inside, through, side by side? Luke Brax goes wide and holds the position by going wide. Is he going to let that position go, or is he going to keep on fighting? He is going to keep on fighting. They're going side by side into turn 2. Red Baron is still holding the inside, but he has to back out. I sort of feel that he went wide. He should be surrendering that position, but well, that'll be the game's call. It seems to possibly just given him a warning rather than a time penalty for that. So for now, Luke Brax holds 6th position from Red Baron. They're coming through to lap the Ferrari, and that is going to, if he doesn't get past him quickly, possibly give some DRS. But Droga looks like he's going to be getting out of the way, and he is ghosted, so Red Baron is able to get through nicely. Meanwhile,
JD gets another time penalty. I think that's 6 seconds now, is it?
It's getting significant, yeah.
So that gap is it's not 12 seconds anymore, it's actually 6.
Let's have a look at the incidents here. Let's see. Picking up the penalties. 3-second time penalty for Krith. 3-second time penalty for Droga. 3-second time penalty for JDR. I'll just look for JDRs.
Yeah, and that gap
Yep.
is now 11.5, so it's going down.
It is 6 seconds of penalties, and Bruno is pulling in on him. He does not, well, I don't even know for sure if he's thinking about that stat, but I'm very interested in that stat of winning every race that he finishes. So far, he's got a full record on that. He either wins, doesn't start the race at all, or retires. It's going to be one of those three. If he gets second place, that will be the combo breaker for him. Meanwhile, Red Baron, behind Luke Brax, it's just getting wetter and wetter. You can see Red Baron slithering around here. Does he have DRS? Yes, he still has DRS, and as long as they've got DRS, I don't see anyone going onto the intermediates, but this is just going to be killing Nameless Nate, killing the other guys on those old tires like Luke, who is just wanting the intermediates to come. There are 8 laps left in this race, and the positions are JDR, Bruno, Krith, Rogaine, Baltic, Luke Brax, Red Baron, and Raro. Prestige and Ian Brax making up the top 10. Oh, there's a spin! Red Baron almost loses it, but he holds on. But now, on the outside, Raro takes him over 7th place from his teammate. Things are getting very, very hairy indeed, but still, it's not yet time for the intermediates, but someone eventually... Oh, the lateral drift there from Red Baron. It is a difficult situation. Meanwhile, Bricklot coming up behind Gabflag here for 12th place.
Ooh,
They're
almost
very
hits
close.
his gearbox, and he's...
Oh, goodness, in the same spot. Turn 2, it's deadly right now. Such a low speed corner, so little downforce, and you're putting on so much power because top speed is so important going into turn 3 and for that whole straight. That is really one of the moments that decides things. Now, J.O. Patel is right behind his teammate Bricklot, and once again, the racing points are going to be vying for position. J.O. on those older tires, 22 lap old mediums. Can he take those to the end if it doesn't go to full wet conditions, or intermediate conditions, I should say? Bruno not closing the gap much further. He's still 11.7 seconds behind JDR, but that's only 5 seconds, 5.7 seconds, when you take into account the penalties, because right now, a salute. There he does, yes. Oh, yellow flag. Yellow flag, and there's a Mercedes off. Lacadienne is off, yes. Oh, Nameless Nate is the first. He is braving the intermediate tires. Let's keep our eyes on Nameless Nate. He couldn't take those softs any longer. He is making a big gamble here on the intermediate tires. Let us see the kind of time that he is able to put up here. I'll put up my telemetry and lap data. J.O. Patel also is through on Bricklot.
Now we actually might never see the change to intermediates, because it's been raining for a while now. And I think if it was wet enough, it's been raining for a while. DRS, I think it's still enabled, right?
It is indeed still enabled. I've been hearing the beep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the DRS flashing on Nameless Nate's car. He is holding close behind Bruno, though. And I think that Bruno would do very well to keep an eye on how this guy behind him is handling. Bricklot is back through on J.O. Patel, and oh, there we go. J.O. Patel is pitting out of his very old mediums. And kind of as we predicted, the people on those old tires are the first ones to say, you know what, I gotta roll the bones. I gotta see what's going to happen here.
And Jay is going actually on soft. He is not following the footsteps of
well, there we have it.
State.
He is saying, you know what, I don't think it's going to go to full wet conditions. I'm just going to take these softs to the end. Honestly, that's just as bold a decision. It's a moment where everyone is just waiting. Oh, Krith picks up a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is going to be very, very painful for him.
I think, yeah,
as he comes
they are
in.
Switching to intermediates, I think.
They are indeed.
And
Rogaine also gets a penalty. The two of them both get a penalty. This is good for Baltic.
This is actually really
but
good.
Baltic's on these old tires. Also, JDR. JDR has pitted, and he is out on mediums. Bruno now leads the race. But JDR is only 6 seconds behind him. What's going to happen now? Is he going to keep on going here, or is he going to recognize, you know what? There's not a future for these. We now have fully half of the grid pitted onto intermediate tires. We have gap flag coming in.
Pitting.
Everyone is pitting. Yes, there we go. That is a J.O. Is that J.O. Patel having to pit again? Let's see.
The only 2 people.
No, that's Bricklot.
Wait, the only
But J.O. Patel.
It's that are not intermediate. It's Bruno, Balzac, Raro, Red Baron. There's actually a good amount.
JDR is just chewing up the gap. He's closed in 1.5 seconds on Bruno. Absolutely, intermediate tires are the tire to be on. But right now, can you afford to lose 2 seconds, 3 seconds a lap for just 4 laps? That's a 12-second gap. Bruno could possibly stay out this way, but is he going to dare to do so? There's another pit stop. Raro going into the pits, and he's right behind Balzac. Balzac and Raro both pitting right now off of the 15-lap-old medium tires.
And DRS is disabled.
There we have it.
Yeah,
We are getting a wet race at the very conclusion of this Austrian Grand Prix in Spielberg. Oh no! Did the Williams stack on top of each other? They did.
They did.
That's very unfortunate for Red Baron. That little loss of traction that put him behind Raro ends up costing him very heavily as he comes out some gap behind the Brax brothers. Pardon me, he's still ahead of Ian Brax, but he's behind Luke Brax. Meanwhile, Luke Brax and Raro, side by side, behind Prestige. Prestige out on those mediums. He is going to get eaten alive here. Look at that. You can see the advantage right now. These medium tires are not going to hold up at all against the intermediates, and Prestige is just swallowed up by Luke Brax.
JDR
Bruno pitting.
Question is, can he keep up and finish inside that 6-second window? I don't think.
Well, I don't think he can. I don't think. Oh, look at that. He can barely even put on the power. He's gambling on this. He is gambling, saying, oh, I can just stay out. It's only another 3 laps, but it's 3 laps that are getting wetter and wetter by the second. The conditions could not be worse to be on these old, worn-out mediums.
He's in a really bad spot right now.
He could lose second. He very well may lose second place here because there is no chance to pit. J.O. Patel retires from the session. What's happened here? Oh, he's sideways. He's sideways out of turn 3. And on the inside, virtual safety car deployed, and this is a godsend for Bruno Araya. He is 5.5 seconds. He's losing so much time. Bruno does have to pit.
Yeah.
He absolutely needs to pit, and this is his opportunity. With a virtual safety car, this is his opportunity. J.O. Patel's misfortune could well be a huge break for Bruno, who is not going to be able to keep his gap to JDR. Let's see what he does here.
It could be that this virtual safety car is actually
He's
gonna
lining up.
finish right when he enters into the pits.
Well, this is to find out if he is the Lewis Hamilton. The virtual safety car is continuing. Bruno is going in for the pits. Here we go. He's through. He's clean. There's no penalty. He was not speeding in the pit lane. Meanwhile, eyes on Krith. Krith is just going through here, coming into the final corner. And the virtual safety car ends. The virtual safety car ends, and now Krith is charging. And Krith takes second place, but it's going to be close. It's going to be very close. Was that a tap on the inside of the wall? Well, Bruno is going to, he's not got first. This is now going to be, unless anything changes, a comfortable win for JDR. But the question is, can Bruno retake second place from Krith?
Even if he doesn't, he still gets P2 because Krith has penalties.
That is a good point. Yes, I had neglected to think of that. Yes. So Bruno does effectively already have second place. And it's going to be very hard for him to close 10 seconds, especially now that everyone is on to the intermediate tires. And you have to feel for J.O. Patel there. He went for the gamble on the softs. I very well may have done the same, but thinking, oh, it's not going to rain hard enough. And he pitted just before things really started to get wet. It's an unfortunate moment, but well, sometimes we make these gambles, and it's turned out better for some than for others. So, with 1.5 laps remaining in the race, JDR has a comfortable 17-second lead. Bruno Araya is just within DRS range, but of course there is no DRS range, so it's merely the 1 second gap to Krith. Rogaine is a gap behind, and 4 seconds further back to Balzac. Luke Brax is comfortably behind Balzac with Raro 1.3 seconds behind him. Red Baron, delayed by that strategy misfortune, having double stacked with his Williams teammate, is in 8th place, comfortably ahead of Prestige. Ian Brax is chased by Gabflag, who is in 11th place, 1.9 seconds behind. Bricklot then follows in 12th, and Nameless Nate right behind Bricklot, having been the first one to gamble on the intermediates. He is now working to recover what he can from this race. He leads Lacadien and Pat Lassard, the two Mercedes teammates.
By Bruno. He gave up position.
Well, there we go. He's just recognizing, hey, I'm just going to hold on. I don't want anything foolish to happen here. I know that I've got my penalties, and he's already got me here. I just need to keep things clean. Just 1.5 more laps. The final lap is about to start. Lap 36 of 36 as JDR crosses the start-finish line. Meanwhile, his nearest competitors are still a full 3 corners behind. Well, we come in towards the final lap here for Bruno. Krith already 1.4 seconds behind. Bruno's pace has been wild this race. Can he take fastest lap? That's the question. There's not going to be any fastest laps in the wet. So actually, what am I saying? Who has fastest lap right now?
I think it's JD, isn't it? I think about 106.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So looking at the standings right now, it's gonna be P1 JD, P2 Bruno. I think Kriff is gonna keep that P3, and Rogan is just gonna fall back the order, I think.
Well, then again, Rogan, continuing his pattern. Oh no! Bricklock goes wide! Bricklock spins off on the side, and he loses a position to Nameless Nate, who moves up to 12th place. Meanwhile, our race leader and our race winner, JDR, takes his first head-to-head victory against Bruno this season. This is the first time they have both finished, and JDR has finished ahead of Bruno, and this is going to give him the championship lead, comfortably coming out of this race. Bruno was closing the gap. Look at that. He closed it to 17 seconds after having run. He's pretty happy about his recovery. A little bit of a wiggle from side to side there at the end. Krith takes his 5 seconds for the unserved penalty. Is this going to throw him behind Rogaine? Because Rogaine has some penalties of his own.
Ooh, and the Ferrari
Rogaine crosses the line
on the main straight.
Balzac takes 4th place and gets promoted ahead of Rogaine.
I think Luke is gonna. No, he did not. But Varro.
Nope, Raro actually gets overtaken. Yes, gets ahead because Luke Brax has those penalties. So 6th place for Raro. Well, hey, there we have it. It's the JDR Bruno Krith podium. Prestige comes through and takes 9th place on his first race, so well done to Prestige. Ian Brax coming in. He is 10th place, but he might lose that position to Gabflag because he has some penalties. But no, Gabflag has finished because Gabflag, of course, has already been lapped. And there we have it. That is the conclusion. Oh, was Jail tapped? Jail says someone may have made contact with him. I just saw that. Absolutely, and driver of the day, Bruno. I honestly, that would be hard to argue with. You had the excellent management. JDR dominated that race and well earned it. Bruno did a fantastic job in coming back. You really saw his pace through there. And here we have it, the celebration. Well, it's a familiar podium for Division 2, and it is the end of a very exciting, very intriguing race. I'm very happy that I had the opportunity to cast this with you, Cub.
I'm really glad you were here today, because let me tell you something, talking to myself is not the best thing to do. It's always better to talk to someone.
Penalties for days here. So with the penalties, Bruno did manage to close it to 14 seconds back, and Bruno does look like he picked up a penalty right at the very end of the race. He was clean for so long, but ultimately did pick up a 3-second, but it doesn't have any effect on his finishing position here.
Only 2 people that finished without penalties is Raro and Gapflag.
And Prestige did pull off a 3-stop, although I don't think that was necessarily a planned 3-stop there. Well, so much for my 1-stop prediction. But I suppose everyone on the 2.
Oh yeah, you got the podium prediction, right? You said Kriff P3.
Yes, I said Kriff P3.
I see you are a wizard yourself too.
Well, I'm more a warlock than a wizard, but I try.
Alright. Thank you guys for watching Div 2 tonight.
It's been a pleasure to have you all in the chat.
Next race is Division 1 Austria again. And that is Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. EST or 7:30 Central.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yep. So see you guys then. Thank you for watching.